Hey everybody, Nathan here. I've been asked repeatedly, dealing with War for Cybertron for the PS3, how I was able to get the Wave 15 Escalation trophy. You have to fight through 15 waves of increasingly difficult enemies to get that trophy. And I decided to do it single player, which actually wound up being a lot easier, I think, than playing with a bunch of other yahoos who are sort of hogging up the kills. So, I thought that I would share with you my tactics. These are things that I found online for the most part. I just sort of mixed them together, sort of made a mutt out of it to create the kind of strategy that would actually work for me. And in doing so, augmented it a little bit to fit my play style and came up with something that, while tedious, did manage to get me the Wave 15 trophy with very little actual stress or effort. It was more a matter of time than it was a matter of frantic butt kicking. So you want to go to the Escalation party lobby, and the first thing you want to do is not choose Find a Public Game. You want to choose Host Game, because you want to do this on your own. Now to make sure that not even your friends can jump in on this, you don't want friends only, you don't want public, you want to go down to invite only. Now this is for two reasons. One, if you don't invite anybody, nobody can butt in on the game. But two, let's say you got a friend who just doesn't have all the time in the world to play the game, and you want to help them out, help them get that Wave 15 trophy. Well, send him an invitation, but don't let him join the game initially. Like text message and say, hey, I'm sending you an invitation, but don't join till I tell you to. Then when you finally do reach Wave 15, then text message him or whatever through your cell phone, whatever you have, and let them know to join the game then. They'll join, pop up with you on Wave 15. As soon as you bash all the Wave 15 characters, you're good to go. You've got the trophy, and so does the other player. You just got to make sure that having the other player there doesn't cause enough problems in Wave 15 that you die after all the effort that you put in. So choose invite only and create game. Now, first of all, there's a lot of different maps you can choose. Broken Hope, Remnant, Forsaken, District, assuming that you have gotten the DLC. You want Broken Hope. This strategy will really only work on Broken Hope. As for characters, you want the one that most people want to play as, which is Air Raid. The reason you want Air Raid is because you need a character who can fly and who can cloak. Because flying and cloaking are the two keys to success with this particular strategy. So you want Air Raid. So once you've selected Air Raid, you've got your map as Broken Hope, you go ahead and start the game, and you're ready to kick some butt. Now, of course, the crappy part about Escalation as single player is there is no ability to get knocked down and get healed and get back up. If you get knocked out once, you are simply dead. Now, we're on Broken Hope. You just saw me go up here and get on top of this building. This bridge up here is your favorite spot. So head on up to the bridge to start with, and this is where I can show you how things are going to look. This area here is effectively your perch. Most of your enemies, as they come after you, are going to get up on this balcony out here, this building in front of you. We're going to go ahead and call this building in front of you the Grenade Building for reasons that will become clear in a moment. Now, you may have noticed if you played this before that this area has, if you follow my crosshairs here, this area has a door over here, and it has a door over on this other side. They're both fairly expensive. You will not ever want to just open up those doors on this strategy. Quite frankly, doing so gives your enemies more places to hide than you would want them to have. So you'll never open up the top floor of the so-called Grenades building. This area here, again, as I said, is going to be your perch. It's a nice place. If you look down, you can shoot down, but if someone's shooting up at you, you can back up, and essentially you have the bridge itself acting as a shield. You can aim over here into the corner fairly well. You can aim down. The only really tricky spot from the standpoint of ground-based enemies is if they're on the other side of this little jumping platform down here. They may be able to shoot up at you. You got to reorient yourself to be able to get at them. No big deal. You also have the slight weakness when it comes to the portals, because there's this portal way down here on the far side where some enemies come through. You've got a portal back here that enemies can come through on sort of the opposite side of where you're standing, sort of behind you. But the biggest threat, or the second biggest threat I would suppose, is this portal right here, because it literally opens up onto the bridge you're standing on. Eventually, once you get to about wave 4 or 5, you'll have those cars start coming through that can fire missiles. So you got to be careful. Every now and then they'll come through here. It's fairly rare. It does happen every so often, sometimes in singles, sometimes in groups of 2. You can shoot through the screen if you want to, through the different, whatever you want to call it, through the power grid or through the energy barrier or whatever. But you need to be careful. The good news is, as soon as an enemy starts attacking you, you can go and cloak. And as soon as you've cloaked, they have no idea where you are anymore. At least most enemies don't. So let's say you're standing here normally, and out comes a missile guy that you didn't notice. So you're standing over here picking off your enemies, yada, 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 shooting things like this little spider guy down here, and then, uh-oh, out of the side comes a missile enemy. You don't see them. All you know is you start just taking fire while you're standing here not looking at them. As soon as you start taking fire, cloak, get your bearings, figure out how you're going to deal with these guys. Usually if there's missile guys, decloak here, you can sort of run back into here, and as long as you're off in this direction, they usually won't be able to still fire at you. They'll usually lose sight of you. Not always, but most of the time. Now, your biggest threat is going to be the jets that don't come for a few waves later. The jets will have a tendency when they come out to come out of this far end down here and out of this portal down here at the end of the bridge, the other end that you will almost never find yourself standing on. Okay? You also don't want to stand on it because you'll get shot. That's what just happened to me. Now, what will often happen is if you have a jet coming after you, the jet will essentially set themselves up somewhere around in here or maybe down in here and start shooting at you. They are incredibly dangerous. They have a tendency to kill people very quickly, and usually what happens with a jet is if you shoot them once, they're going to barrel roll out of the way and then keep firing at you, and you've got to shoot them again. So what you generally want to do is when you start to see a jet pop up over here or when they're anywhere close, get your butt back behind this and then move back out to shoot them once you have a bearing on their location. The problem with it is, if you get shot by a jet and you say, oh no, cloak, usually, as soon as they lose sight of you, jets will transform into robot mode and drop down, so they're not going to be up here for you to shoot. But generally speaking, they will shoot from either over in here. Every once in a while, they will wind up transforming and flying over that piece of debris to shoot you, and then disappear over this side. If you were to go down in this area, they would also have a tendency, sometimes, though not as often, to be flying around in this general area. That's why, if you have jets firing on you, or jets coming out in those waves, you want to be careful that if you back up, you don't expose your back to this opening back here. You want to make sure that when you do go back, you're using this back wall as cover, yes, but you always make sure that it's still there. You're not putting yourself in a position where they can essentially fire around it. Okay, so let's talk about your strategy for arming yourself and which doors to open, which weapons to get. You start out only with your standard machine gun. Now that's lovely and all, but it's only one collection of ammo. It's only one load of ammo. The key here is that you want to get a secondary weapon that's pretty good so that anytime you go and fill up your ammo, it's filling up ammo for 2 weapons. It's basically double the output for your money. You also want to make sure that you have a place to load up on ammo, to load up on grenades if you want them, though frankly I rarely use them because I was usually up here at my perch where you're going to spend almost the entire game of Escalation, and you're going to want to be able to have some place to pick up health or an overshield. So I'm still on wave 1 here. I've killed most of the enemies. I've left 1 or 2 alive of the little spiders so I can show you around a little bit. Okay. First off, we need to get used to the idea of a cloaked speed run. You can transform, but as soon as you transform, your ability to cloak is gone. Not that you can't cloak while transformed, or be cloaked while transformed, rather, but that you can't initiate it or shut it down while you're cloaked unless you just shoot. Remember, as soon as you shoot, your cloaking is gone. What you want to get into the habit of doing is, for very quick speed runs, to pick the direction in which you want to go, to basically do a quick double jump in that direction, and as soon as you get within harm's way, transform. But there is an extra step in there, and that is that you want to cloak right before you do it. Keeping track of your cloaking meter and how charged up it is so you know when you can use it is an essential part of this strategy. Now, when we start off here, you're going to find that you need a place to get health, ammo, and stuff like that. This area down at the bottom, I'll go ahead and cloak and fly down there. This area down at the bottom, this is the building where you have your back to it most of the time up there. There's your ammo machine to start with. There's another weapon back there, but frankly I don't ever use it. There's not really necessarily a need to come back out this side, but you can if you want to. The key is that anytime that you need ammo at the beginning of Escalation, you are going to cloak, fly your butt down here, get your ammo, fly right back out, assuming you don't bang into a spider, fly back out, get back up onto the bridge. That's the key. And you want to get back to the side of the bridge that we've been working with here, your so-called perch. Now for the first rounds, that's the only really good place to go to get ammo. Now let's say, instead of regular ammo, you want to get grenades. The good news is those little arrows there pretty much lead to a grenade area. Now here, probably easiest just to drop down and while you're falling, transform, or cloak and transform, and then zip down there to get what you need. Here's where you're going to find your grenades. That's why I call this the grenade building. So I'm going to cloak, drop, transform, and fly through. Health if you need it, but it's not the easiest place to get it. Here's your grenades right next to the health machine. You're going to want to get them and fly back out the other side and just curve back around to get back up top. You notice how as I got there I decloaked? That wasn't manual. Cloaking has a time limit, and what you want to do is get into the habit of doing speed runs to go get your supplies so that your cloak runs out right as you're getting back, not before you get back, which puts you in the line of fire. But I just said, okay, that's the grenade building, but I said that's not the best health to get. Not that there's any difference between them, it's just not the easiest one to get that's the most practical. Instead, just like over here was your ammo, across from it, this building, we're going to call this the overshield building. This is the right-hand side or the health side, whatever you want to call it, of our overshield building, but there's no overshield we can get to yet. If you want health, you're going to want to, again, jump, do your cloaking. Here's your health machine. Moreover, the first big purchase you're going to make is going to be to go around the corner from the health machine, and here's where you can pick up a photon burst rifle. This is going to be a rifle that lets you use a scope to zoom in, and it's going to be your secondary weapon the entire time you're playing. So you're going to go in, get your health, transform, back. Go in, get the photon rifle when you can, turn around, fly back. Over and over and over again. Lather, rinse, repeat, at least to start with. This is your health area. This is your ammo area. And again, your grenade area is down there. Just follow the arrows.